They say that good things come to those who wait, but in the automotive world, waiting 7 years is usually a death sentence. While BMW was busy defining the segment with the X7 and Mercedes was perfecting the S-Class of SUVs with the GLS, Audi was conspicuously absent from the full-size, 3-row heavy-hitter table. But today, the silence ends. The sleeping giant of Ingolstadt has finally woken up. This is the all-new, first-ever 2026 Audi Q9. It is the biggest, widest, most technologically advanced, and frankly, the most aggressive SUV Audi has ever produced. It is not just a stretched Q7. It is a ground-up declaration of war against Munich and Stuttgart. Today, we're going to find out if being fashionably late was a strategic masterstroke or a fatal error. We're going deep into the engineering, the luxury, and the driving physics to see if this new yacht is worthy of your six-figure check. To understand the Q9, you have to understand the pressure resting on its shoulders. For over a decade, Audi owners who outgrew their Q7s had nowhere to go but to a competitor. The Q7 was a brilliant family hauler, but lacked the sheer road presence and the third-row livability of a true full-size flagship. The Q9 fixes that immediately. Built on the Volkswagen Group's new PPC, Premium Platform Combustion architecture, this vehicle is a massive leap forward in structural rigidity and packaging. Visually, it is intimidating. Standing in front of it, the first thing that strikes you is the evolution of the single-frame grille. It is wider, flatter, and integrates the sensors for the Level 3 autonomous driving systems seamlessly into the mesh. Audi has adopted the split headlight design language here, but unlike the controversial BMW facelift, this feels cohesive. The daytime running lights sit high, razor-thin and menacing, while the main matrix LED units are hidden in the dark intakes below. It gives the car a concept car look that actually made it to production. Move to the side profile, and the scale of this machine becomes undeniable. At over 205 inches long, it dwarfs the Q7. The wheelbase has been stretched significantly, specifically to benefit the second and third row passengers. You'll notice the 23-inch Audi Sport wheels, massive rolling stock that is necessary to keep the proportions in check. But look closely at the sheet metal work. Audi's Quattro blisters, those flared fenders above the wheels, are subtle but muscular, hinting at the power underneath. The rear is dominated by a full-width OLED light bar that doesn't just glow, it communicates. It can display warning symbols to trailing drivers and performs a startup animation that looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. This isn't just styling, it's theater. But a flagship isn't defined by its lights, it's defined by its heart. Under the hood, Audi has resisted the urge to downsize everything to a 4-cylinder. The model we are testing today features the powertrain we have all been praying for, a heavily revised 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 paired with a potent mild hybrid system. This engine is a masterpiece of thermal efficiency. The turbochargers are located inside the V of the engine, a hot V configuration, which reduces turbo lag to almost zero. You stomp the pedal, and the response is instant. We are talking about over 600 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque in the SQ9 trim. Audi is also offering a plug-in hybrid V6 option that promises 60 miles of pure electric range. But let's be honest, in this segment, the V8 is the king. The transmission is the ZF8 Speed Automatic, tuned for imperceptible shifts, sending power to the legendary Quattro all-wheel drive system. This version of Quattro is rear-biased, sending 60% of the power to the back wheels under normal driving to give it a sportier, more agile feel. Opening the door, you are greeted by what Audi calls the digital stage. The interior design philosophy has shifted from the cold, technical look of the previous generation to a warmer, more enveloping luxury. The dashboard is dominated by a curved panoramic OLED display that combines an 11.9-inch virtual cockpit for the driver and a massive 14.5-inch MMI touch display. But they didn't stop there. The front passenger gets their own 10.9-inch screen with an active privacy mode, meaning they can watch movies or stream content without distracting the driver. The materials are exquisite. We are seeing sustainable open-pore wood, laser-cut aluminum, and Valcona leather that feels softer than anything I've felt in a BMW. The center console is free of clutter, utilizing a toggle-style gear selector to open up space for dual wireless charging pads and cooled cup holders. Now, the moment of truth, the third row. In the Q7, the third row was a penalty box for small children. In the Q9, it is a legitimate business class seat. Thanks to the squared-off roofline, headroom back here is generous even for a 6-footer. You get your own USB-C ports, your own climate zone, and heated seats. The second row, however, is the place to be. If you opt for the executive package, the bench is replaced by 2 captain's chairs with massage functions and a center console tablet that controls everything from the blinds to the audio. Speaking of audio, the Q9 debuts the new Bang & Olufsen Symphonic 3D sound system with 27 speakers and 1900 watts of power. The tweeters rise out of the dashboard acoustically, and there are exciters in the headliner to create a dome of sound. Driving the Q9 feels surreal. You expect a vehicle of this size to feel cumbersome, like a boat listing in the waves. But Audi has equipped this chassis with every physics-defying trick in the book. Standard is the adaptive air suspension with active roll stabilization. Unlike traditional anti-roll bars, which are physical metal bars, this system uses 48-volt electric motors to twist the suspension against the cornering force. The result is a car that stays flat through corners, almost unnaturally so. It also features all-wheel steering. At low speeds, the rear wheels turn up to 5 degrees in the opposite direction of the front, shrinking the turning radius to that of a compact A4. At high speeds, they turn in the same direction, making lane changes feel incredibly stable. The steering weight is typical Audi. Light, precise, but perhaps lacking the granular feedback of a Porsche Cayenne. However, in a luxury cruiser, that isolation is exactly what you want. The cabin is tomb-like. Audi has used double-pane acoustic glass on all windows and active noise cancellation through the speakers to delete road roar. You're doing 80 miles per hour, and it feels like you are stationary. How does it compare to the rivals? The BMW X7 drives sportier. It wants to be pushed harder. The Mercedes GLS feels floatier, more disconnected from the road in a wafting sort of way. The Audi Q9 sits perfectly in the middle. It is sharper than a Mercedes, but more comfortable than the BMW. It strikes a balance that I think most buyers in this segment are actually looking for. It doesn't punish you for the road surface, but doesn't bore you to death either. There are some downsides. The reliance on touchscreens for climate controls is still a point of contention, although Audi's voice command system is now powered by AI and is much more intuitive. The price point is also ambitious, starting north of $90,000 and easily climbing past $130,000 for the V8 specs. It is a serious investment. But when you look at the build quality, the panel gaps, the solidity of the switchgear, you see where the money went. This feels like a bank vault wrapped in leather. In conclusion, the 2026 Audi Q9 was worth the wait. Audi didn't just rush a product to market to plug a hole. They took their time to analyze the weaknesses of the competition and engineer a solution that surpasses them. It offers the space of the GLS with the tech-forward edge that Audi is famous for. For families who refuse to compromise on space, but didn't want the softness of a Mercedes or the polarizing styling of the new BMWs, the Q9 is the new benchmark. It is big, it is bold, and it is undeniably the new boss of the four rings. Click the video on screen now to see how this compares to the competition.